Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T Uverse TV. Well, on the southeast coast of Florida, the Atlantic Ocean, wafting against the shores, and here at Marlins Park, the Rangers and the Marlins getting set to wrap up this two-game series. And welcome in this afternoon, along with Mark McLemore, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us for this Rangers edition of It's Just Lunch. And it will be just lunch, the Rangers and the Marlins taking on each other. Marlins winning last night, a walk-off 10th inning victory. And the Rangers try to get back on track here this afternoon. Nick Martinez, who has been pretty good away from Globe Life Park this year, on the hill.
Well, hopefully Nick Martinez can continue that road success that he's been having so far this year. He's coming off of a nice outing, a little back and forth outing against the Angels. He had some bright spots and then a couple of mistakes that cost him. One was Cole Calhoun hit a 3-run homer off of him. But all in all, it was a good outing, 103 pitches, 6 innings, 4 earned runs. So he's looking to back that up and try and improve on his road record for this year.
Well, Nick Martinez coming back home. He is a Hialeah, Florida native, a product of the greater Miami area. And those numbers, as you can see, on the road, 2-4 this year. And he's allowed 2 or fewer runs in 2 of his last 3 road starts. So the Rangers hope that trend keeps on going here this afternoon. We'll have the wrap-up of this two-game series right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event, now playing at a Ford dealer near you. By AT&T Uverse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world. And by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. We will be back to Marlins Park for the finale of this two-game series. The Rangers and the Marlins coming up right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Thing goes crazy every time the Marlins hit a home run. And the Rangers hope they don't see that thing go off here this afternoon. And Nick Martinez would just as soon see the Marlins stay quiet when they're floating on top of that. In case you missed it last night, the Marlins ended up winning that ball game in 10 innings. And no surprise, Giancarlo Stanton was the one who did the damage in that 10th inning. Natali Feliz came in to face Stanton with the winning run at second base, Jeff Baker, and Stanton taking the ball the other way. 1-2 fastball from Natali Feliz. Stanton, his 5th career walk-off in his 3.5-year Major League career. So that's how the series got underway. We will find out how it ends up here this afternoon. Just a very quick two-game series. The Rangers come back home, have an off day tomorrow, and then they will take on Kansas City over the weekend at Globe Life Park. And let's take a look at the Texas Rangers lineup here this afternoon. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Jin-Soo Choo will lead things off. He is in left field. Elvis Andrus is the shortstop batting second. Alex Rios back in the starting lineup. He's in right field. Adrian Beltre bats cleanup. J.P. Arancibia the start at first base. Batting sixth, playing center, Leonis Martin. Giovanni Soto is catching today. Rougned Odor at second. And Nick Martinez, the young right-hander, on the hill batting ninth.
Sonic scouting report on Nathan Eovaldi. 6-7 record with a 3.96 ERA in 25 starts. His last 3 starts, he's been pretty good. A 1-1 record, an ERA of just 1.2, and 1 walk or less in 17 of 25 starts. So he throws strikes. He's going to be going up there filling up the strike zone. So hopefully the Rangers can get to him early.
Well, the native Texan on the hill here this afternoon. Let's take a look at the defense behind him today, brought to you by Progressive. Same as last night with Yelich in left, Osuna in center, and Stanton is in right field. Jones at first, Solano and Echevarria up the middle, Casey McGee at third, and instead of Saltalamacchi behind the plate, it's Jeff Mathis, the veteran backstop for the Miami Marlins. Shin-Soo Choo getting set to lead things off. Rangers now at 25-39 away from home. It was the most road losses for the ball club in the last 5 years. Most they had prior to this year, 38, and that was in 2009. Well, the Rangers trying to get things back on the winning side of things. They are now 26 and a half games behind the Los Angeles Angels in the American League West, and that's the most they've been behind the front runner in the last 7 years. So here we go. First pitch of the afternoon by Eovaldi is outside for ball one to Choo. Shin-Soo a 243 average and 12 home runs and 39 driven. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Shin-Soo, as we mentioned last night, really scalding the ball against the Marlins in his career. Choo overall a 457 hitter against Miami. Pitch on the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Facing a guy, Nathan Eovaldi, who has a 129 earned run average in August. A 1-1 record. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Eovaldi out of Alvin, Texas. Alvin native, and he had committed to play baseball at Texas A&M before signing contract with the Dodgers out of high school. Another 1-2 pitch. Big breaking ball, and it hung outside, 2-2. .77 degrees inside. A very comfortable afternoon here in Marlins Park. And Choo hits a rocket down to first. Knocked down by Jones, but he underhands to Eovaldi for out number 1. That ball hit hard enough that Jones had time after he fumbled it a bit to get the out. 1 gone for Elvis Andrus.
Choo swings the bat well here against this Florida Marlin ball club, especially in this ballpark. But as you said earlier, he's got a 467 average against him. There's some reason he likes this team, but and he hit that ball on the screws there.
It's funny how those matchups evolve over a couple, 3-4 years for hitters. Same thing happens to pitchers too, but it's more evident, I think, with hitters because they don't just get hot; they tear everybody apart on a given ball club for no apparent reason.
Yeah, the funny thing about it is a lot of times that pitching staff changes over. So it's not necessarily the same guys that you're seeing over and over. It just happens to be that particular team.
0-1 pitch to Elvis. And that's back to the screen. The foul ball makes it 0-2. Elvis at 273. Couple of home runs, 32 driven in. Elvis bringing a 7-game hitting streak intact into this ball game. A little misleading, though. He only has 8 hits on those 7 games, but he has at least 1 hit in all 7. And just a bit outside. Eovaldi trying to nail down the outside corner. Didn't miss by much. Our pitch tracker showing you that just nudging that line. Off the fist and a 2-hopper down to McGee. 2 gone. So both Choo and Andrus out on ground balls. Next will be Alex Rios.
Eovaldi is the kind of guy as a hitter you like to see, and not that he doesn't have good stuff, he does, but he throws strikes. You know he's going to be around the plate. You're going to get something to hit, and hopefully he'll make a mistake and you can capitalize on that. But anytime a pitcher is around the plate, you know he's a strike thrower. As a hitter, you can get comfortable or somewhat comfortable and say, hey, I'm going to get something to hit this at bat. Let me be ready for it.
Rios takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. Does it help that Eovaldi pretty much is fastball slider where both pitches are relatively hard?
Definitely helped me.
Yeah.
Yeah. If those are the 2 pitches he's got, I'm looking for one. I can eliminate the breaking pitch, the off-speed pitch, and just look for the fastball and be ready for it because you know it's coming.
Yeah. And that's not to say he doesn't throw a slower breaking ball. He does in a straight change, but primarily, and we're going to say 90% of the time, it's either a fastball or a hard slider.
Right, and when a guy throws 93 plus, consistently, you're going to get the fastball.
Right,
you're going to get it. He's got to use that fastball, and you just want to tune up and be ready for it.
He's fallen behind Alex Rios. 2 balls and a strike. Right center field. That is down for a base hit. Over to cut it off is Stanton. Oh, Alex Rios back in the starting lineup this afternoon after a bruised thumb kept him out of the starting lineup last night as the first base hit for the Rangers here today.
Well, like we talked about, Buzz, he got a fastball right there. You know you're going to get it sooner or later. You just want to be ready for it. And Rios drills it into right center field for a single.
Yeah, that'll bring up Adrian Beltre. Beltre hitting at .320. That's good for fourth in the American League now. 17 home runs, 64 RBI. Another solid year for the all-star third baseman of the Rangers. Beltre, a couple of hits last night, a double and a single. He scored a run, also walked one time. 1 ball, no strikes. That was that hard slider outside. Beltre, like Shin-Soo Choo, has enjoyed hitting against Miami pitching over the years. Beltre is second best career mark as he chops one up the middle. That's into center field, a base hit. Rios to second will put the brakes on. Osuna gets to the ball pretty quickly, but Adrian Beltre finding a hole again. And the Rangers, with 2 outs now, have runners at first and second for J.P. Arancibia.
Again, you've got to go up there against this guy looking for that fastball because you're going to get it. Beltre got one right down the middle, and he took it right back up the middle for a base hit.
You mentioned last night the infield and outfield are very fast here. The grass is cut fairly short. It's a Bermuda blend, and that ball not showing you how fast the grass part of it is because it hit in the dirt out in front of home plate. But the infield is hard too, and that's what created that high bouncer with overspin on it.
Yeah, offensively, you like that as a hitter because if you hit the ball like that there in front of home plate on that dirt part area, you're going to get a good jump, and that ball's likely got a good chance to get through that infield. But as a defender, it makes it tough when you're playing on a quick surface like that. You know, it cuts down your range an awful lot. So you've got to really concentrate on getting a really good first step when a ball's hitting at a quick infield.
0-1 the count to J.P. Arancibia. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. J.P. hitting a 176. He has cooled off just a little bit. The hot start that he had after coming off the disabled list right after the All-Star break, or coming back, I should say, from AAA right after the All-Star break. Now hitting .205 since his contract was purchased back on the 17th of July. Just a little bit over a month ago. JP still with 7 home runs. That's 7th in the major leagues in that time span. He's also 5th in RBI with 23. Foul back, a ball, and 2 strikes. There's a split for J.P. Arancibia, 133 before the Rangers optioned him to AAA. A home run, 6 RBI. Second half, since called back up, a 205 average, but it has been a lot of damage mixed in with that 205.
Yeah, he went down and made some adjustments. Got a little bit closer to the plate, bigger bat, being more aggressive in the box, and it's paid off for him. Well, he's going with that slider, just breaks off the plate a little bit, and Arancibia watches it go right by. It's a tough pitch to lay off of, especially when you're up on the plate.
Yeah, I would think so. Eovaldi with the 2-2. That ball's hammered to left field. Going down into the corner, one hopping off the wall. Rios will score. Beltre being held to third. J.P. Arancibia. And now Beltre's coming to the plate. The throw is not in time. Echevarria dropped the relay throw from Yelich. And Gary Pettis screamed at Beltre, get going, and he did. 2-0 Texas.
Beautiful heads-up play by Beltre and Gary Pettis there, watching the throw the entire time. That's the only way he's going to be able to score, is if he's not watching that throw. There's no chances are if the third base coach says, hey, you got to go, it's going to take too long for Adrian to look, turn around, look for the ball, realize it, and go. So great heads-up play, gets him another run.
Well, Rangers on top by a couple. Now Arancibia is going to third. It's a ball in the dirt. And Mathis couldn't get it in time, so the wild pitch gets Arancibia at third.
You look at this play. Echeverria drops the relay throw, and Beltre just took off as soon as he dropped it. Makes it home easily, but that's good heads-up base running there. Always watching and finding out where the ball is, knowing where the ball is. I think a lot of young players tend to take things for granted that a fielder's going to catch it, he's going to hold on to it. But the one thing that you always have to know when you're on the bases is where the ball is. That's the only thing that can get you out, so know where that ball is.
Now 2-0 the count to Leonis Martin. Martin, a .263 average. Leonis, a couple of hits in last night's game. Gets fisted, but drives it into right, a base hit. That'll score Arancibia, and the Rangers are on top 3-0. Well, good job by Martin to get jammed, but still have enough on it to drive it into right field for the RBI single.
Again, I think the Rangers have it down. They know what they're going up there looking for. It looks like a little slider here, maybe. Oh, nope, cut fast or a straight fastball. Just inside. Martin gets the hands through. Nice piece of hitting by Martin. Didn't try to overswing. Nice short stroke. Got through the zone. He's at his best when he cuts that swing down and just tries to hit the ball hard back up the middle.
The Rangers 3 runs on 4 hits here in the first inning, and this has all happened with 2 outs. And that has been a trademark when the Rangers have played well this year. They have done a lot of damage after 2 were out in an inning. And they continue it here this afternoon. They have 3 runs on 4 hits, 4 consecutive hits. And, Giovanni Soto at the plate trying to keep it going. Soto at .265 with a home run and 3 driven in. Popped up down the right side. Garrett Jones, the first baseman, over at the railing, but it's back 3 rows. Out of his reach, the count moves to 0-1. Giovanni Soto bringing a 5-game hitting streak intact here this afternoon. He and Robinson Chirinos pretty much equally splitting time behind the plate now. Fastball for a strike. 0-2 to Soto. Eovaldi looking in for the signs from Jeff Mathis. And the right-hander now steps off the back of the pitching rubber. Leonis Martin at first. You might see him be on the move now with 2 strikes on Soto. Eovaldi again peering in, a long look in for the sign. Now he has one. And the breaking ball is just off the outer edge. 1-2 to Soto. Right-hander sets once again. And Soto hits a one-hopper down to McGee at third. Across the diamond, that'll do it. But with 2 outs, the Rangers make some noise. They score 3 runs on 4 hits. There was 1 error, and they leave 1. After half inning, Rangers 3, Marlins coming up. top of the first inning. Now Nick Martinez out to the hill, and here's the lineup that he will face this afternoon. Christian Yelich leads off. He's followed by Donovan Solano and then Giancarlo Stanton. Casey McGee bats cleanup. Garrett Jones at first. Marcell Ozuna is in center. Daniel Echeverria is the shortstop. Jeff Mathis catches, and Nathan Eovaldi is batting ninth and pitching.
The Sonic scouting report on Nick Martinez. 2-9 with a 5.2 ERA, 21 games. 16 of those have been starts. And 16 strikeouts in his last 3 starts. He had a so-so outing in his last outing against the Angels. Just one mistake cost him a 3-run shot. But we saw some good things out of Nick Martinez. Hopefully he can continue that here today against the Marlins.
Well, Nick Martinez ready to go to work. Christian Yelich, the hottest of hot hitters for the Marlins, steps in. Yelich, a .485 average on this homestand. It's the 9th game for the Marlins here at home. He takes ball 1 high and outside. 8-game hitting streak for Yelich. .284 overall with 9 home runs and 44 driven in. Ball 2 is high. Nick Martinez falling behind Yelich. Yelich, another multi-hit game last night against the Rangers. Takes a strike here to make it 2-1. 3 for 5 for Yelich last night with a walk. Nick Martinez trying to make sure he keeps him off base to start this first inning. The 2-1 pitch. Good fastball down and away. It's 2-2. Martinez, the 24-year-old, grew up in Hialeah, Florida. Went to a Jesuit prep school here in Florida, then went to Fordham University. Was a part-time second baseman closer for the Fordham baseball team. Inside corner, call, strike 3. Yelich frozen at the plate like last week's leftover.
Nick Martinez going right after Yelich. Gets a fastball, hits that down and in part of the corner on the inside part of the plate. Gets that called third strike.
A nice job by Nick Martinez to come back from being behind in the count 2-0. And he punches out Christian Yelich to start things off. Now Donovan Solano, second baseman. And he takes strike 1. Solano 1 for 5 in last night's game. Reached a couple of times, hit by a pitch along with his base hit. One and one. Solano at .249. A pair of home runs and 16 driven in. Although he's been much better in the last month and a half. He's been a .302 hitter in his last 36 games. Sky to right field. Coming in a couple of steps, Alex Rios. That is a very easy out number 2. Now the Ranger defense this afternoon is delivered to you by the New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. Outfield this afternoon with the Chu in left field, Martinez in center, Rios is in right. Aaron Sevilla gets the start at first. Odor and Andrews up the middle, Beltre at third. Giovanni Soto is catching with Nick Martinez on the hill. Now here's Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton, of course, the author of the walk-off win last night for the Marlins. 10th inning single against Neftali Feliz. 1-0 pitch. A ball and a strike. Stanton, a .297 average, 32 home runs, 89 RBI. 2-1. The home run and RBI totals are tops in the National League. He is tied for the top spot in baseball with the 32 home runs. He and Jose Abreu and Nelson Cruz. Good breaking ball. And it's 2-2. Here's a hard slider from Nick Martinez.
Martinez starts this slider on the inside part of the plate. Stanton thinks he can get to it, but Martinez had some nice break on that slider.
Tried it again. Couldn't get the swing from Stanton. The count is full. Stanton hitting third, trying to extend this first inning. Casey McGee waits to be next. Rangers on top 3-0 here in the first inning. Martinez to the wind, the payoff pitch. Got away with a hanger. I think you have something going, Mac. That must be what they are trying to do, is Stan. Throw him that hanging breaking ball.
They are definitely getting away with it. That's the pitch he cannot hit. Or at least he hasn't been hitting it for these last couple of days.
Another 3-2. Got him swinging. That was not a hanger. That had some teeth on it. A couple of strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning for Nick Martinez. Marlins gone in order. We have finished one at Marlins Park. It's the Rangers 3 and the Marlins nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Participate in the Labor Day Rangers race presented by Medical Center Arlington. Coming up on Monday, September the 1st, and the 5K finishes on the field at Globe Life Park. Register today at texasrangers.com/race. Rougned Odor begins the Rangers' second with a solid base hit to left field. Odor not wasting any time, and he has the 5th Ranger hit of the afternoon against Nathan Eovaldi.
Well, Eovaldi starts him off with a fastball off the outside part of the plate. Nice piece of hitting by Odor, staying with it, taking it the other way, getting on top of it.
No, one on, nobody out. Here's the pitcher, Nick Martinez. He's not swinging, or he's not bunting here. He takes a strike at the knees. We mentioned Martinez, former infielder, so he knows how to handle the bat. Third baseman Casey McGee playing up just in case there is a bunt. He's around a bunt this time and pops it foul behind home plate. The count moves to 0-2. Nick a little frustrated with that bunt attempt. Kind of push the bat at it. Odor at first. A leadoff base hit got him there. Eovaldi checks him and sets. And a ground ball foul outside first. Still 0-2.
Not a bad hack.
No.
Could tell he did that a little bit. Just a little bit.
Again, around a bunt, and bunts through it for the strikeout. Well, Martinez trying to get the sacrifice down, fails to do so, and Eovaldi gets his first punch out. One away for the top of the order. Just on first glance, looks like he probably swings about better than he bunts.
Yes, I think you're right.
I don't think that was something that was a big part of his repertoire. Well, here's Shin-Soo Choo, who began the game by grounding out sharply to first. And he skies the first pitch to left field, almost dead in his tracks. Christian Yelich puts it away. Staying at first is Odor, and there are 2 outs for Elvis Andrus. Choo made the right-hand turn at first base, and Elvis comes up now, having grounded to third, his first time up there. Rangers coming into play here this afternoon, struggling offensively. It's not just the last few games, or you can go back, well, better than 2 months, back to the middle of June. Ball club has been averaging just over 3.6 runs per game. When you have the highest ERA in the American League, that's not going to win you a lot of ball games. And that's exactly what the Rangers have found. Is that their offense hasn't been able to produce. There have been some big outbursts, 16 runs, 14 runs, but then there have been a lot of lulls of 0 to 2 runs per game mixed in there.
Yeah, it makes it difficult to win ball games, especially when when your offense is struggling like that. Your pitcher's going out to the mound feeling like he's almost got to throw a shutout in order to give you an opportunity to win. It's tough on both ends. The offense is just trying to get more consistent. You don't expect them to go out and score 16 runs, 12 runs, 10 runs every day, but 4 or 5, getting consistently out there and being able to score 4 or 5, 6 runs. That's going to help you win ball games.
Right. 0-2 pitch. Elvis able to lean on that breaking ball and check his swing. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, to that point, the Rangers have scored 4 or less in 8 straight ball games, and also in 11 of their last 12. And the pitching staff, again, the pitching staff has a weird combination of having the most shutouts in the American League with 15 and having the highest ERA. Those two don't seem compatible. The pitch inside, 2-2. But that, I guess that points out the inconsistency of the year for the entire ball club.
Really, it really does. I mean, that says, okay, well, we can shut down an offense, but when we lose ball games, we tend to give up a few more runs than normal.
Yep. Eovaldi ready for the 2-2 pitch. Instead, it's a toss to first to drive Odor back. Rangers did something in the first inning. They had some hits with runners in scoring position. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. They went 2 for 3. They were just 1 for 11 last night in those situations. Elvis back out. Eovaldi paying a lot of attention to Rougned Odor at first. Pretty good lead for the Rangers' second sacker. And the slider is wide. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So now Odor will be off and moving with the next Eovaldi offering. If Elvis extends his first inning, second inning, Alex Rios waits to be next. Eovaldi set, payoff pitch is looped foul back into the seats. We'll try it again. Elvis back to the screen to collect his bat. It slipped out of his hand. Eovaldi this afternoon, 25 pitches at 95 or better. Quality arm, but he's also given up 3 runs on 5 hits in an inning and 2/3.
Well, and you're going to get a fastball when you see numbers like that.
Inside, ball 4. The first walk of the afternoon puts Elvis at first. Odor is at second now. And Alex Rios, who singled in the first, comes up. Eovaldi. See the steam coming out from his collar. He's a little bit hot about that walk to Elvis. Rios, after that single in the first inning, a 285 average. Fastball is outside for ball one. .49 RBI for Alex. Got number 50 standing out there at second base. Slider on the outside corner. That evens the count at 1-1. Eovaldi's next pitch. Eovaldi's starting to struggle a bit with his command. 44 pitches already. And it's starting to get to the point where it's mounting on him, where you start to see the quality diminish a bit the further he goes in this inning.
And you can see the frustration building with every pitch.
Mike Redmond, very well aware of what that looks like. Redmond, a former major league catcher, understands what happens to pitchers when they start pressing a bit. And Rios skies one to right field. Long run in for Stanton toward the line, still going, and he can't get it. It's a fair ball. Here comes Odor. He will score. The throw to second, not in time. A looping two-run double off the bat of Alex Rios. The Rangers lead it 5-0.
Well, I think he'll take that one. That ball was hit. He thought it was a pop-up. Thought Stanton would be able to get to it. Of course, Solano, one of them, was going to get to it, but Stanton made a sliding effort. A long way to go. That ball is tailing away to the corner and just couldn't get there. Ball's in, and the Rangers pick up another couple of runs with 2 outs.
Well, I was with Alex. That looked pretty harmless when it went off the bat. You get an A for placement, though. You couldn't walk out there and drop it in a 5-foot circle more unreachable for anybody in a Marlin uniform than right there. And Chuck Hernandez out to talk to Nathan Eovaldi.
And I think part of it, you've got to, in Stanton's defense, with this ballpark, the way the dimensions are here, is 392 to right center field. So what Stanton does, or the Marlins have him do, is they have him shade toward right center to cut off that gap, because if there's a ball hit into that gap, it's an automatic triple. And with a very fast runner, it could be even inside the Parker. So they have him shade toward right center a little bit. So he had an awfully long way to go coming in and over to the line to try and make a play on Rios' ball there.
Yeah, good point. You have to give up something when it's that big in the alley. And Alex Rios will take it. He now has 51 RBI, and he's at second. Adrian Beltre 1 for 1 at the plate. The 1-0 pitch to him is shot foul. And we'll take a look and see how far Giancarlo Stanton had to come for that last Rios base hit. He's probably playing, 110 feet off the line?
At least that. And typically, you have that right fielder line up 90 feet off the line. So he's at least 15 to 20 feet past that.
Into the hole, long throw by Echevarria, on the bounce, gets Beltre by half a step. Well, the Rangers gone in the second, but again with 2 outs. This time Alex Rios, the 2-run double. 2 more on the board. It is 5-0 Rangers after 1.5. photo for a chance to have it shown on an upcoming broadcast. Thanks to the good folks at AT&T. Just use hashtag Southwest Fan Photo, and your photo might be selected to be aired sometime during the season. We'll select one for each ball game that we have on Fox Sports Southwest, and we'll show you today's selection just a little bit later on this afternoon. The Rangers on top with 5 in the first 2 innings. And Casey McGee, the cleanup hitter, starting things off against Nick Martinez. Pitch fouled off. It's very quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Nick Martinez getting some big run support here in the early going. It's what every pitcher would love to have. 1 ball, 2 strikes. McGee last night, a miserable evening, was kind of capped off by McGee snapping the bat over his knee after he struck out. Breaking ball, see you later. Boy, a nasty hook. That was the hard slider. McGee didn't like it. He tells Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire, so.
Oh, look at that. Nice late break. Down and away, not much McGee could do, but look at that. Couldn't pull the trigger on it. May not have looked like it live, but you look at the pitch tracker and caught a lot of that plate down and away.
Sure did. So that is 3 strikeouts in the first 4 hitters for Nick Martinez. And the first pitch to Garrett Jones is low and outside for ball 1.
Because what does it do for a pitcher? You come out, your team gets 5 quick runs for you early. Does that help that pitcher relax a little bit?
I think what it does, Mac, yeah, it removes the concern that you might have about making a mistake with a pitch. That's out of your mind. You forget about all that, and now it's a matter of going out and throwing a lot of strikes, getting ahead of every hitter you possibly can. And when you don't have the fear of making a mistake, you tend to make better pitches just automatically. You understand that with a 5-run lead now, they can't bring the tying run to the plate, and that's a big comfort. At the same time, though, you don't want to get too carried away with it and go away from what your basic game plan was. But it goes back into, instead of maybe pitching around a guy like Stanton or being extremely careful, well, you may tend to go after him with nobody on base a little more often. 2-2 pitch. Now 3-2 to Garrett Jones. And like here, with Jones up there, normally you may want to throw a 3-2 breaking ball to him in a scoreless ball game, or if you're ahead by 1 or down by 1. Now you go ahead and say, here it is. If you want to, throw it away from him, if you want to hit it out to left field, and you can do that, more power to you. Payoff pitch, and that is outside. Tried to do that, but missed. 1-out walk puts Jones aboard for Marcell Ozuna. No first base runner of the afternoon for the Marlins. Marcell Ozuna had his 17th home run of the year in last night's ball game. Hit one way out in left field off of Miles Michaelis. 63 RBI, a .257 average for the Marlins center fielder. First pitch to him from Nick Martinez. Right down the middle.
This is another one of the Marlins, the young, bright future outfielders, just 23 years old and having a great year with the bat. He can cover some ground out in center field. And you look at that Marlins outfield, 22 years old out in left field, and Yelich, 23 in center. And the old grizzled veteran out in right field, Stanton, just 24 years old. So they've got a pretty good young outfield working.
Very talented. They've picked up the game at the major league level pretty quickly. 0-2 pitch, chopped up the middle. That's into center field, a base hit. Stopping at second is Garrett Jones, and Marcell Ozuna with the first hit of the afternoon. So the Marlins have runners at first and second, 1 out. And Echevarria is coming to the plate.
Martinez gets this fastball down, but down the middle, right out over the plate. Ozuna just bounces it right back up the middle.
Another one of those choppers out in front of the plate that had a lot of topspin on it. When it hit the second time, well, it just shot out into center field.
Those are the kind you don't like as an infielder. You think you got a beat on it, and it hits the ground and just shoots on by you.
2 on, 1 out. Echevarria, a .275 average. Take strike 1. 26 driven in for the Marlins shortstop. Echevarria, since the middle of last month, has batted .305. Hits this one hard. Beltre picks it on a hop. Steps on third across the diamond. Hello, 5-3 double play, and that takes care of it. Nick Martinez with one very well spotted pitch. Gets the double play, and the inning is over. No runs, a hit. 1 man left after 2. Rangers 5, Marlins nothing. The #1 live streaming sports service is celebrating 12 years. You can join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit TexasRangers.com for details. The Rangers on top 5-0 as JP Arencibia leads off the third inning for Texas. Arencibia, RBI double in the first inning, came around to score himself. Fouls off the next pitch from Milwaukee. And the count evens at a ball and a strike. JP now with 30 RBI. 181 the average, creeping back up. Big breaking ball. There's the off-speed breaking ball that Eovaldi broke out of his repertoire.
Haven't seen much of that one. It's pretty much been fastball slider so far.
1-2 pitch. There's that hard slider, and Arencibia down on strikes. Eovaldi gets his second punch out, 1 gone. Leonis Martin will be next.
Pulled the string on him with a breaking ball, and then comes back with another breaking ball, slider down in the dirt. Gets Arencibia to swing at it. Miss for strike 3.
Leonis had an RBI single his first time up, goes the other way, and shoots one by McGee at third into left field, a base hit. Boy, Leonis Martin is hot, and I mean hot.
Gets a pitch inside here. Looks like a little slider. Keeps his hands inside of it and takes it the other way. I mean, there's such a difference when he's under control and then he swings at strikes and tries to take the ball the other way or back up the middle.
Yeah, sometimes it's set of guys that the worst thing you can do is hit a home run. It looks like Leonis might be one of those guys that he starts thinking about driving the ball out of the ballpark.
Oh, yeah, look at what I just did. I can do that again. And the head starts to fly, the swing gets long, and next thing you know, you're 1 for 15 and wondering, hey, how did I get here?
Yeah. Giovanni Soto takes a strike, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Soto a ground ball to third back in the first inning. Eovaldi driving Martin back with a toss. Now the right-hander sets once again. Hot foul. That will be over the Rangers dugout, back into the seats. 1-2 to Soto. Rangers now 5 runs on 7 hits against Nathan Eovaldi in the first 2 1/3 innings. Another stat throw driving Martin back. Leonis this year, 21 stolen bases in 30 attempts. He is second on the team to Elvis Andrus, who has 23. I make that 22. Inching off the bag as Eovaldi sets. Another throw over there.
Looks like Martin was a little thought of running there. It just goes to show you how much time he has to get back to first base. So he might be able to get even a little bit bigger lead.
Eovaldi just missing the outside corner, 2-2. Eovaldi a tough guy to run on, and Mathis the better thrower of the 2 catchers the Marlins have. He and Saltalamacchia. Opponents have just 1 stolen base this year with Eovaldi on the mound. Two balls, 2 strikes. The pitch is high. It's 3-2. Nathan Eovaldi trying to work himself in another hot spot. He has 1 on, 1 out, a 3-2 count on Soto. Rougned Odor, the Ranger number 8 hitter, waits to be next. Martin on the move. The pitch is chopped to third. To second, they do get 1, and they'll turn the double play around the horn. Well, McGee made the correct decision. He threw a bullet to second. Solano turned it over. The Rangers are gone in the third. No runs a hit, nobody left after 2.5. 5-0 Rangers. Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by the all-new Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. A beautiful shot of downtown Miami, Florida. Rangers' only trip, the first time that the Rangers have played in this ballpark, Marlins Park. Open since 2012, and Rangers trying to win their first ball game here after losing last night. Nick Martinez with a 5-run advantage, going to work against Jeff Mathis to start off the bottom of the third inning. A ball and a strike. Mathis, of course, the veteran backstop, a 201 average this year, a couple of home runs, and 10 driven in. Mathis, a longtime fixture behind the plate for Mike Scioscia's Angel clubs. Takes that pitch on the inside corner. 1-2. Martinez to the wind. Got him swinging. A good fastball from Nick. That is strikeout number 4. And before Eovaldi comes up, let's take time for a Mazda game break with Dana Larson. Thank you, Dana. How about Chris Carter? He's gone completely crazy.
Hasn't he? 30th home run last night.
Wow.
It's really all or nothing, but
Yeah.
he's starting to get a lot more of something
A
now.
lot more of the all. Pitch to Eovaldi is outside. Anthony Eovaldi will never be confused with a good hitter. It's just not in his DNA, I don't think. 0-43 this year. Just 2 for 47. Strikes out about 2/3 of the time. Chops that one to the right side. There I go. A kiss of death. That's on me, Nick Martinez. Sorry about that. His 3rd hit of the year. Boy, that guy can swing the bat, can't he?
Hey, great swing, huh? Didn't look like a pitcher at all. Fastball down the middle from Martinez and pokes it in the hole over there between first and second. Stewart thought he had a play on it, but couldn't get it. I'll tell you what else. Rios looked like he was going to come up and go to first base with that ball.
He did. He did. We've already seen that in highlights one time this year. Billy Butler thrown out at first base. Kansas City DH. So 1 on, 1 out. Back to the top of the order. Christian Yelich takes just low and outside for ball 1. Yelich called out on strikes to start the ball game today. 283 the average now. Marlins with 2 base hits after Eovaldi slapped one through the right side. Blowing in, it's 2-0, and now Soto out. You remind Nick Martinez, hey, you still have that 5-0 lead now. Let's forget about the base hit you just gave up to the pitcher. Let's go after Yelich here and make him swing the bat.
Can that get into a pitcher's head that he gave up to a pitcher?
Yeah. We pitchers have a tendency to be very scatterbrained sometimes. We get diverted in our thinking very easily. Especially on something like that, a meaningless base hit, and we're going to kick ourselves for the next 2 hitters. And all of a sudden we've given up a walk and a 3-run home run. Up the middle, off the glove of Martinez, deflected into right field. Around second, headed for third is Eovaldi. That's too bad. Nick Martinez, if he doesn't get leather on that ball, Rougned Odor is right at the bag to take that and probably turn the double play.
Right, Buzz. Martinez can't. It's tough for him to. Those are just instincts, reactions.
Yeah.
To try and ball hit back at you, especially with him being a former position player. I can make that play, reach up, knocks it into right field. Odor was right there and probably would have turned that double play.
Yeah, and you're right, Mac. That is just a reaction play. It's one thing if you're talking about a guy reaching out with his bare hand. Now, you can teach yourself not to do that, but react with a glove, I mean, that's what we all grow up doing.
Right.
No, runners at the corners now with one out. Donovan Solano, the hitter, and Solano flied to right back in the first. Martinez, a long set. And the first pitch is a bit low for ball one. Solano, a 247 average. He is checking down with Brett Butler, the third base coach. We've got Eovaldi, the pitcher, over at third. And Christian Yelich at first. One-zero pitch. And skied to left field. Not very deep. Chu coming on. Eovaldi is going to tag but not try and score. Throw is all the way to home plate on one hop. And a very important out number two with runners still at first and third.
You see Chu getting under the ball, and you see him take that little hop before he caught the ball. He's getting himself ready to catch the ball, make a quick release, and made a nice, strong one-hop throw to home plate. Nice play by Chu.
Yeah, you see some outfielders so often, Mac, assume the runner's not going to try and score, and they don't make a good throw, and all of a sudden he gets away from somebody, and the run scores anyway.
Right. What you got to do in that situation, you've got to act like that runner is going to try to score. So you come through the ball, you catch it, you make a good strong throw, at least hit the cutoff man if nothing else, but you've got to get that ball back into the infield.
There's Giancarlo Stanton, who struck out back in the first inning. 0-1 the count. Stanton 11 out of 28 on this homestand. This is the 9th game for the Marlins. Big swing at the breaking ball, and he hasn't made contact on that one yet. 0-2. See Giovanni Soto motioning, and he wants that pitch down in the dirt if possible. Right down there, and Stanton swinging over the top. Big strikeout for Nick Martinez. He has 2 in the inning, 5 for the game, and the Marlins are gone. No runs on 2 hits and 2 left. On to the 4th. Rangers 5, Marlins nothing. To save 1,000. Each pint of blood donated can save up to 3 lives, and you can give your blood, make a donation at Plano Donor Center this Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and join Carter Blood Care in saving 1,000. Rougned Odor takes a breaking ball from Nathan Eovaldi. It is 0-1. Odor slapped a single to left field his first time to the plate. Goes after the next pitch and pops it up. Casey McGee, the third baseman, waiting for it to come down. That is out number one. So Odor is 1 for 2. And now Nick Martinez coming up. One of the unique features of Marlins Park, you have the aquarium right behind home plate. It's built into the area right at the base of the screen. You have to get fish that love to watch baseball because they see a lot of it there.
That's pretty good.
Next pitch to Martinez. And Nick takes it inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pretty good swing on that fastball. 1-2. Nick tried to bunt a couple of times his first time up there and fouled one off, bunted through one for the strikeout. Eovaldi into the wide, the right-hander deals. Missed with a breaking ball, 2-2. Next pitch on the way. That is pop foul behind the plate. In college, Nick had an average of 295. He could do a little bit as far as swinging the bat. Takes the pitch here at the knees on the outside corner, and he has gone looking. That is out number 2. Well, folks, the Rangers continue their replica jersey giveaway this Friday. The first 15,000 fans, 14 and older, attending the game with the Royals, receive a Nolan Ryan replica jersey, and that's sponsored by Dr. Pepper and Tom Thumb Food and Pharmacy. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS if you prefer. 2 up, 2 away here in the 4th inning. And Shin-Soo Choo, the leadoff man, up there for the 3rd time today. He chops one foul. The count evens at a ball and a strike. Choo has grounded to first and flied to left field. Rangers with 7 hits in the first 3 2/3 against Nathan Eovaldi. Make that 8 hits. Up the middle into right center field for Shin-Soo Choo, and he continues to pummel Marlins pitching in his career.
Choo gets a breaking ball down and in from Eovaldi. Takes it right back up the middle.
So with 2 outs, 1 aboard now. Elvis Andrus at the plate. Elvis walked and scored his last time up there. Takes a knee-high strike, 0-1. Not only has Elvis hit safely in his last 7 ball games, he's hit safely in 22 of his last 24 and a .326 clip. He's done a pretty good job of getting that average back up to the .272 mark where it stands right now. Five for 12 is Elvis in the first 3 games against the Marlins this year. A ball and a strike to him.
In the last few weeks, Elvis has done a really good job of being that catalyst, being on base. And that's something that, after the break, he really started getting back into a groove.
That ball is hit hard, but to the shortstop, Echevarria. Underhands to Solano at the bag. That'll do it. For the Rangers, no runs, a hit, and 1 man left. After 3.5, the Rangers leading 5-0. Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Southwest, where it's not about the score, it's about the experience. Now, Marlins come to bat here in the bottom of the fourth inning against Nick Martinez. Martinez has allowed 3 hits through the first 3 innings. Also had 5 strikeouts with 1 walk. And Casey McGee, who went down and looking his first time up, with a wild swing and a slider, 0-1. McGee now hitting at .296. One ball and 1 strike. Casey McGee last night an 0 for 5. Martinez back to him. And the pitch hit pretty well to center field. Moving back, though, with plenty of room out there. Leonis Martin, 1 gone. It's about a $25 cab ride from home plate to that 418 marker out there in center field. Boy, that is a long, long way. Plus, the wall goes up almost 20 feet.
A lot of room for a center fielder to have to cover out there. You've got a guy who can run. I think they like that. They like room to run out there in that outfield and chase balls now.
See all the odd angles out there, curves, and that angled wall going up. A strike to Garrett Jones, who walked back in the second inning. 0 for 1 today. Jones brings in a 9-game hitting streak in interleague play. And make that 10 as Odor had to go off the tip of his glove into right field for a base hit. No, Garrett Jones with the 4th hit of the afternoon off of Nick Martinez. He's aboard with 1 out for Marcell Ozuna.
Odor gets a hot shot hit to his left. Just can't pick it. Kind of got caught in between a little bit there. Just not able to come up with it cleanly.
A 1 on, 1 out. Marcell Ozuna had the first base hit for the Marlins against Nick Martinez today. That was a single in the second inning. .258 for Ozuna for the year. And that breaking ball hits the inside corner, coming in through the front door. 0-1. Ozuna has fared very well in interleague play also. He's hit safely now in 23 of 25 interleague games which he's played. Marlins, one of the better records as a team against the American League. Martinez back to the plate and misses inside to Ozuna. In fact, the Rangers, with the win at Globe Life Park earlier this year, snapped a 13-game winning streak that the Marlins had in interleague play. It was the longest ever by a National League club. Foul backing out of play, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And this year, the Marlins 12-4 against American League foes. Redmond's club, 8.5 games off the pace in the National League East. Ozuna, base hit down the line. That's going to be extra base. Garrett Jones making his way to third. He's going to be waved home. Relay throw will be taken by Andrus, and in to score is Garrett Jones on the double by Ozuna. It's a 5-1 Ranger lead.
Trying to go inside here to Ozuna. Fastball inside off the plate. Ozuna kept it fair. Got his hands inside of it. Pulled it right down the line. This
a big ballpark, 344 down the line, so that ball rolled all the way to the wall before Chu could get to it and get it back in.
It kind of reminds you of the ballparks out in Arizona for spring training where the corners are extremely deep, and any ball down there is at least 2 bases, if not 3 sometimes.
Yeah, most ballparks out in Arizona are 350 down the lines.
First ball swinging at Echevarria. Grounds out to shortstop Elvis Andrus. On to third goes Osuna. But now there are 2 outs with the runner at third, and Jeff Mathis coming up. So Osuna with that double not only broke the shutout bid by Nick Martinez, but he drove in his 64th run of the year. Mathis a strikeout as he led off the Marlins third today. Martinez will continue to work from the stretch with Osuna at third and 2 out. In the dirt, it gets away from Soto. Here comes Osuna down the line, and he scores. Osuna read that very well. Got a quick break, and Giovanni Soto upset with himself for not locating that ball more quickly. That makes it a 5-2 Ranger lead.
Soto didn't see that ball, see where it kicked off to, and how far it kicked off. Not much of a play left at the plate once that happened, but like you said, Osuna read it very well. Got down that line in a hurry.
2 runs on 2 hits and a wild pitch here in the 4th inning. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to Mathis.
You know, that's that pitch we talked about earlier, Buzz, with a runner at third base. Pitcher's got a breaking ball and tends to like to throw that pitch down and bounce it. You got to have confidence in that catcher that he can keep that ball in front and not let it get away. Keep that runner from third from scoring.
Yep.
Then a lot of times pitchers are just say, hey, I don't want to throw that. I don't want to throw that pitch. I don't want to take a chance on it.
Martinez studying the signs, and now time called. Jeff Mathis said that's a little too long. Yeah, and you know, really, at the big league level, a pitcher should never have to worry about that. You know, it's going to happen from time to time, yeah, but most catchers, I would think, you should have confidence in that they can block the ball. And you know, if you start doubting your own ability, not just talking about the catchers, but your own ability to throw that for a strike, you're never going to throw it for a strike. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way. 3-2. No, Nick got ahead in the count. Now has thrown 3 consecutive balls out of the strike zone. Mathis trying to get aboard with 2 outs here in the 4th. Nathan Eovaldi, the pitcher, waits to be next. Payoff pitch. We'll have to do it again. Brad Penny, long-time Major League starter and reliever, getting loose in the Marlins pen. He's their long man. Probably see Mike Redmond pinch hit for Eovaldi if Mathis gets aboard. Mathis making it tough on Nick Martinez.
Working that pitch count up steadily.
Jack in the Box pitch tracker showing this will be pitch number 8 coming to Mathis in this at bat. Another 3-2. Call strike 3. Mathis hoping against hope that was going to be ball 4. But 6th strikeout of the afternoon for Nick Martinez. A couple of runs in the inning will go to the 5th. It's now the Rangers 5, the Marlins 2. Southwest is teaming up with Dave Campbell's Texas Football to bring you the most comprehensive coverage of highlights and scores from across Texas every Friday night. It all starts August 29th at 7 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Southwest. Well, the Rangers had their lead cut down by a couple, 5-2 now, the Texas lead. And middle of the Ranger order, Alex Rios, Adrian Beltre, J.P. Arancibia, the first three to do the swinging against Nathan Eovaldi. Eovaldi given a reprieve of sorts, on the verge of being taken out for a pinch hitter, but Jeff Mathis called out on strikes to end the inning before that decision had to be made. So Eovaldi back out there and throws strike one to Rios. Alex 2 for 2 today, a single, a double. He has driven in 2, he has scored a run. Loops that one out of play down the right side. And let's take a look at the AT&T U-verse rewind this afternoon. The 2-run double. Not a lot of style points, but perfectly placed just out of the reach of Giancarlo Stanton and Donovan Solano. Driving home the last 2 runs the Rangers have scored today. Rougned Odor and Elvis Andrus scoring on that 2-out 2-bagger. 1-2 pitch. That will even the count. Well, Alex, now with the average going back up, it's 287 currently. And 3-2 as Eovaldi misses low and outside. So Rios trying to get aboard to start the 5th. Adrian Beltre, Ranger cleanup hitter, is next. Got him swinging. Went with a slider on 3-2, and Rios down on strikes. 4 strikeouts now for Nathan Eovaldi.
Eovaldi with a slider down and away to Alex Rios. I think Rios was looking for something else.
Here's Beltre. Adrian a single in 2 trips. He, like Rios, scored back in the first inning. He shoots one to right, and Beltre continues to pummel Miami pitching. He is 2 for 3 today after going 2 for 4 last night. Another multi-hit game for Beltre. Well, line to line, too, for Adrian.
Just using, that's what makes him such a great hitter. He uses the entire field. Wherever the ball's pitched, that's where he's going to hit it. He gets a fastball here to right on the outside part of the plate, takes it to right field, shoots a laser into right for his second hit of the day. It's fun watching him when he's hot.
It is.
You know he's going to do something. He's going to hit the ball hard somewhere. Sometimes they leave the ballpark.
Here's J.P. Arancibia, who's 1 for 2. He hits a double play grounder to Echevarria. Solano and back to Jones. Taylor made 6-4-3, and that takes care of the Rangers. No runs, a hit, nobody left. We're halfway through the ball game. Rangers 5, Marlins 2. PCS is giving your child a chance to take pitcher Martin Perez to school. Log on to MetroPCSTakeAPlayer.com for your chance to win. That's Metro PCS, wireless for all. Jordani Valdespin will lead things off as a pinch hitter. So, Nathan Eovaldi's afternoon is finished after 5 innings of work. And here's Valdespin as the pinch hitter, taking high for ball 1. Valdespin with the average of .222. He is 0 for 4 in pinch hitting roles this year. And the pitch outside, 2-0. Nick Martinez kind of cruised through the first 3 innings. Gave up a total of 3 hits. Had 1 walk, and Marlins put together back-to-back hits to touch him for 2 runs to cut the lead in the 4th inning. And the next pitch on the outside corner, 2-1. This is where Ron Washington has said he wants to see his young pitchers, Nick Martinez and Nick Tepich, Miles Michaelis, find a way to get through the 5th, 6th innings and get later into the ball game. So that's a hump, the next hump that they have to learn to get over. That pitch hits the inside corner to Valdespin. It's 2-2.
Yeah, this is the development time right here. This is what they wanted. They need to be able to take that next step. And he's in control right now, 5-2 lead in the 5th inning. How do I get to that 6th inning? How do I get to that 7th inning? It's by continuing to execute pitches.
2-2 pitch. Came with the slider inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Valdespin pinch hitting to start this 5th inning. Christian Yelich, the leadoff hitter, waits to be next. But Nick Martinez very definitely wants to make Valdespin swing the bat here. The wind, the payoff pitch. Fouled back. Yeah, this comes back down, Mac, I think, to the development we're talking about. It's back down to getting away from thinking about pitch count and more about innings. How do I get through 6 innings? How do I get through 7 innings? Forget the pitch count. That's a tool used by people that are making decisions whether you can pitch longer or not. As a pitcher, you got to say, hey, I've got to find a way to get the ball club into the 7th inning consistently. And that takes a different frame of mind. There's a good fastball thrown right on by Valdespin for the strikeout. Martinez now with 7 punch-outs, 1 away, and Yelich coming up.
Martinez going right after him. And he ran the count full, came back, made a pitch, said, "Here's my fastball. If you can hit it, let's see what you can do with it."
Yep.
A very big out there.
Well, here's Christian Yelich, who had a single off the glove of Nick Martinez in the 3rd inning. Hit a ground ball up the middle that looked like it might have a chance to be a double play, but Martinez had the ball carry him off the tip of his glove and into right field. And typical, if it's Christian Yelich, anybody else would have had a ground out. But Yelich, the way he's hitting against the Rangers, no such luck. Solidly hit into center field. That's down for a hit in front of Leonis Martin. The second hit for Yelich. He is aboard with 1 out. Solano coming up. Let's take time for a Mazda game break with Dana Larson. All right, Dana, thank you. Well, here the Rangers leading 5-2, but Marlins the last couple of innings have strung some things together. They have a runner on with 1 out. Donovan Solano 0 for 2 today. He's flied out both times that he has faced Nick Martinez. And Christian Yelich at first, of course, the team leader in stolen bases for the Marlins. Drawing a toss from Nick Martinez. Yelich with 16 stolen bases. His 16th last night. Solano a .246 average. Another throw over there. Solano checking with Brett Butler down at third, going through a series of signs. Relayed the signs to both Solano and to Christian Yelich at first. Now Martinez sets at the belt, and the pitch is a strike on the inside corner. Rangers 5 runs on 9 hits so far. The Marlins 2 runs on 6 hits. Marlins have committed the only miscue of the game defensively.
This is a big at bat here. Solano at the plate. Got Stanton on deck. Martinez definitely wants to get out of this inning here. Hopefully get a ground ball double play.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where you need to, as a pitcher, look into the on-deck circle, see who's standing there, and say, I'd rather not face him as the tying run in this game, so I better bear down and make some good pitches to Solano. One is the count. Foul back, a ball and 2 strikes. There, Nick Martinez's parents, fairly stoic at the moment, although had some looks at him when a strikeout has prompted some high fives all around the stands. Mom's a little more concerned than Dad, at least outwardly.
Definitely outwardly. You better believe Dad's got some things going on inside.
1-2. Martinez okays the sign, a check of Yelich at first. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice stop by Giovanni Soto. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Solano not having nearly as much success at home as he does on the road hitting. He is a .289 hitter away from Marlins Park. At home, just .194. Most of the Marlins hitters would be just the opposite. Better here at home, and the Marlins record would indicate that. Now the 2-2 pitch. Pulled down the line. Beltre, a great backhand stop. He throws out Solano.
Wow.
Quick as a cat, Adrian Beltre, and he prevented real trouble there. Into second is Yelich, but there are 2 outs now.
Another incredible play by Beltre. Smashed down the line by Solano. 2-hopper, Beltre to his right. Stops, plants, fires over to first. Pulls Aaron Sevilla off the bat, but still close enough for Aaron Sevilla to put the tag on Solano to get that big second out of the inning.
And the biggest fan of all right there in the middle of the diamond, Nick Martinez on that play. 2 away, and here is Giancarlo Stanton. 0 for 2, a pair of strikeouts against Martinez today. Wouldn't offer that first pitch breaking ball. It is 1-0. Stanton has seen sliders and curveballs basically every pitch from Nick Martinez today, and has not been able to make contact. Somebody trying to talk to Dad. Dad's not offering any. I'll talk to you in a minute. I got to concentrate.
Yeah, he can't hear a thing right now.
High and tight. 2-0. Yeah, got a little rise from the crowd.
Okay, let's brush it back a little bit. Just let him know, hey, I can have that part of the plate as well.
And now they're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Giancarlo Stanton. Well, the Rangers, who had 4 intentional passes last night, will break it out here again this afternoon. And with 2 on and 2 out, Mike Maddox now going to the mound. Little teaching moment. Nick Martinez and Giovanni Soto I don't think Dad was too upset about not facing Stanton with the 2-0 pitch.
Doesn't look like Dad gets too upset about much of anything. Okay, he did move. Okay, there we go. All right, we got a smile. There he goes.
Mike Maddox out there talking to Nick Martinez, Giovanni Soto, and at the plate, Casey McGee. And McGee has been very good this year after an intentional walk to Giancarlo Stanton. He's 4 for 11 with 6 RBI. We'll see what he does this at bat. 0 for 2 today, a strikeout, a fly ball to center. He's got Yelich at second, Stanton at first. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Rangers leading 5-2, and Nick Martinez trying to keep it that way. Oh and 1.
Martinez is trying to figure out how does he get to the 6th inning? How does he get to the 7th inning? It's by getting out of this inning right here.
Next pitch to McGee. Off the end of the bat, Elvis has it. A little flip to Odor, and that'll do it. Nice job by Nick Martinez. No runs, a hit, 2 left for the Marlins. We have finished 5 in Miami. It's the Rangers 5, the Marlins 2. Slam inning brought to you by Sonic. Today's jackpot is worth $900 and dinner for 2 at a Sonic Drive-In. Today, the Rangers are hitting for Mary Green from Meade, Oklahoma. And if the Ranger hits a grand slam during the inning, Mary Green from Meade, Oklahoma will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic or restaurant. Nick Tepper's working around a little bit of a rough spot there in the 5th inning. Kept the Ranger lead at 3. It's 5-2 Texas. Leonis Martin, Giovanni Soto, Rougned Odor, the first 3 to do this swinging, and it'll be a new pitcher on the hill for the Miami Marlins. This will be left-hander Brad Hand.
Numbers on Brad Hand. It's 26 ball game, a 2-5 record, an ERA of 4.5, 32 walks, a lot of walks, 47 strikeouts. He's given up 8 home runs and retires at first batter he faces 9 out of 14 times so far.
And going to work to Leonis Martin, who showed bunt on the first pitch and pulled the bat back. It is ball 1. Martin, a perfect afternoon so far. 2 for 2, pair of singles with an RBI. And that pitch inside to him. 2-0 the count. Leonis has singled to left and singled to right here this afternoon. And ahead in the count now, it's 3-0. So Martin trying to get aboard to start the Rangers' sixth inning. He'll be followed by the catcher, Giovanni Soto. Right down the middle from Hand. It's 3-1. Brad Hand this year has had 11 starts out of the 26 appearances. Now 3-2. Five days ago, and had a 7-inning outing against the Diamondbacks. Payoff pitch coming. We'll try it again. Leonis with the 2 hits now, the average back at to 267. He is getting it moving in the right direction. That is up from 249 just a couple of weeks ago. Slowly hit to first. Garrett Jones is not going to have a play as Leonis Martin beat Hand to the bag. And that's going to be the 3rd hit of the afternoon for Leonis Martin, a leadoff single here in the 6th.
Martin was able to take advantage of the left-hander who falls towards third base. First baseman comes over to get it. As soon as that first baseman leaves, it becomes a foot race between that runner, that hitter, and that the pitcher. And typically when you've got a speedy runner, he's going to beat that pitcher over there every time.
Yep. Especially for a left-hander that falls off, as you mentioned, back a little toward third base. You're a step and a half in the hole to begin with. A 1-on, nobody out. Here's Giovanni Soto. 0-1. Soto, last time up, grounded into a double play. 250 the average for the Ranger catcher. Rangers now in double figures with 10 hits this afternoon. Mathis having to scurry after that pitch. 1-1 the count. Mathis checking with the Marlins dugout to see what instructions might be offered. Hand ready, a couple of checks at first. And Soto, a rifle shot to right. Stanton comes in to make the catch, a quick throw. But back in time is Leonis Martin. Well, Soto hit it right on the nose. That ball held up for Giancarlo Stanton for the out.
Soto gets a fastball on the outside part of the plate and hits a rocket to right field. Stanton makes a great play, gets a good jump on it, coming in the entire way. And almost tries to double up Martin, who had gotten off just a little bit.
The 1 gone now. Rougned Odor will step in. And Odor 1 for 2 today. A single, a run scored. That was back in the 2nd. Odor not having any problems at all against left-handed pitching, especially with power. He's had 5 home runs this year. 2 of them have been against left-handers.
There's no question he's been impressive, especially against those left-handed pitchers, which typically, especially for a young hitter, left-handed pitchers are pretty tough on him. But Odor shows no signs of being intimidated by a left-hand pitcher.
And they've got Leonis Martin. The throw to second hits him. Goes out into center field. Martin up and advancing to third. Well, that's a painful steal and a move to second, or move to third, but it's effective. An error on the throw by Garrett Jones.
You see, Hand's got Martin picked off, but what you're supposed to do as a runner, you're supposed to continue to run, and then if you can, run inside, get as close to that grass as you possibly can, simply because that first baseman has to come inside and get a clear shot to that shortstop that's covering. And if the further in you go, the further away from the bag that ball has to be. And you saw what happened there. Didn't get it out far enough. And ball ends up going into center field.
Rougned Odor now an opportunity with Leonis Martin at third. The infield for the Marlins pulled all the way in with 1 out. going to try to cut that run off at the plate. And so Odor can get an RBI with an out. A little late decision to swing there, and he fouled it off to the left. It is a ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, he saw that ball up and realized, hey, that's where I want it, up. Get a fly ball, hit it to the outfield and drive that run in. It's going to be pretty difficult to hit a ground ball and drive Leonis in for third with the infield in.
And working from the stretch with Martin at third, the 1-2 pitch. Pulled foul outside first. Odor scoring a pretty good pitch that time by hand. Rougned 27 RBI for the year. Trying to increase that number here. Another 1-2 is coming. Foul tip into the glove. The throw to third, not in time. Boy, what a snap throw by Jeff Mathis. And Casey McGee slapping that tag down just a little bit late.
Hand gets a fastball in on Odor, strikes him out. And it looked like Leonis Martin is probably going on contact.
I think we're going to have a reversal of that call, judging from that angle. So the strikeout of Odor, and Mike Redmond out, and he is issuing the challenge of the call. The call on the field was safe, and I think you can see on this replay that tag looks like it's there before that hand comes in contact with the bag, but we'll see if the folks in New York feel the same way. Got the crew chief Jeff Kellogg along with the third base coach third base umpire DJ Rayburn. Principals listening now to New York. They've got the headsets on, hooked up to the replay command center in New York. The umpiring crew assigned to this game will look at all the replays and issue their determination. Clear and convincing evidence to overturn the call is how it's worded. Call on the field is safe at third. And Mike Redmond issuing the challenge, saying no, he thought he was out.
Looked pretty close live, but when you look at that replay shows a lot more than what we can see with the naked eye.
Rangers have been pretty successful this year avoiding overturned calls, but this one might not go into that success category. The decision has been rendered. The headsets are off, and now the verdict, he is out at third. So it goes as a strike him out, throw him out, pickoff at third base. Leonis Martin is gone, and the Rangers are out in the sixth. No runs, a hit, and nobody left. We have finished 5.5. Rangers 5, Marlins 2. North Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event, now playing at a Ford dealer near you. A lot of water sports going on down here in South Florida, as you can imagine. And Rangers doing a little more than treading water against the Marlins. They are leading 5-2 as Miami comes to bat here in the 6th inning. Garrett Jones to lead things off against Nick Martinez. The first pitch is high and outside for ball 1. Jones has been aboard both times this afternoon. He's walked and had a single. Rangers have out-hit the Marlins 10-6 through the first 6 innings for the Rangers hitting-wise. Martinez now falling behind 2-0. Nick with 85 pitches so far this afternoon. 52 strikes as he throws his 53rd strike. 2-1. Jones a .249 average. A pretty good pop with 13 home runs. He has driven in 45. Late swing on that high fastball. 2-2 the count. And inning by inning, Nick very consistent. That 5th inning, the only time that he has gone to the 20 pitch mark. That's a good, solid outing for Nick Martinez here today. The 2-2 pitch. Pulled on the ground to Odor. Nick gobbles that up. 1 gone. Well, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule brought to you by Progressive. And Rangers finish up here this afternoon, a day off tomorrow. Then Kansas City, the hot Kansas City Royals, the Central Division leading Kansas City Royals, come in for 3 over the weekend. And the Rangers hit the road for the rest of the month. Seattle for 3, Houston for 4. And they start out September in Kansas City over Labor Day to face the Royals for 3. Marcell Ozuna pops the first pitch up, and that's going to be back into the seats for strike 1. Ozuna has singled and doubled. He has driven in a run, his 64th of the year. He has also scored a run. Nick with the 0-1 pitch. Well, he tied him up. That pitch working its way in on the fist. 0-2.
Martinez going up and in. Ozuna can't get extended, can't pull his hands in, but swung right through it.
Hit pretty well to center field, but again, a lot of room out there. Leonis Martin, a good jump and easy play for the fleet-footed center fielder. 2 gone. Nick Martinez trying to have his first 1-2-3 inning since the first inning. Marlins have had base runners every inning except the first. Put 2 hits back-to-back in the 4th inning for their 2 runs. Here's Adeiny Echevarria. Couple of ground outs, once into a double play. 1 ball, no strikes. Echevarria, one of the Marlins that's much better here at home than he is on the road. An average of .305 coming into play today at Marlins Park. That compares to .244 away. Marlins 7 games over 500 at home, 37-30. Taking a little bit off, and Martinez with the advantage now, and 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Nick doing a good job of getting ahead of these hitters. Hopefully he can finish off Echevarria here.
Martinez next pitch, and that's fouled away. Nick already career major league high. Of course, this is his first year at the big league with strikeouts, 7 of them so far. His previous best had been 6. That was in his last outing against the Angels, and the time before also was 6. 7 today, ups that bar just a bit. Tapper right back to him, and Nick will underhand to first. And there is a 1-2-3, 6th inning for Nick Martinez and the Martinez family on their feet here at Marlins Park. We're going to the 7th inning. The Rangers maintain that 5-2 lead. Delivery of the day, and it came back in the 1st inning. JP Arancibia lashed a double off the wall in left field, driving home the first run of the afternoon. Then Adrian Beltre able to score on an error. So it made it a 2-0 Ranger lead on JP's double. In our forward game summary this afternoon, 5-2 the Rangers leading. Alex Rios a couple of hits and a couple of RBI today. Leonys Martin a big afternoon. He is 3 for 3. And Nick Martinez, 6 innings of work, a couple of walks, a career-high 7 strikeouts, and he is finished for the afternoon as Ron Washington has Jim Adduci starting off the 7th inning for the Rangers as a pinch hitter. A very nice outing by Nick Martinez here today. And he'll be facing a new pitcher on the hill for the Miami Marlins, and that would be Chris Hatcher. Right-hander deals, and Adduci. A rip and a miss.
Numbers for Chris Hatcher, his 37th ball game. He's got an 0-1 record. Pretty decent ERA at 3.38. 40 innings, only 7 walks. He's given up 1 run in his last 4 outings.
Jim Adduci down in the count, 0-2. Adduci at 172. A home run, 8 driven in. Jim has been scuffling of late. Takes it outside. Adduci 0 for his last 22 times to the plate, and that was on the heels of his first major league home run back on the 9th of the month down in Houston. Hatcher with a fastball, and Adduci with the foul ball. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Chris Hatcher to University of North Carolina, Wilmington. Was the 5th round selection back in 2006. Two and 2 now. Hatcher made his major league debut back in 2011 with the then Florida Marlins. Appeared each of the last 3 seasons with the big club. Got him swinging to Adduci. Chasing that one up the ladder. And that is out number 1.
Hatcher staying away from Medusi. All three of his strikes, all three fastballs on the outside part of the plate. And then he elevated that last one. And Medusi just couldn't catch up to it.
So that'll take the Rangers back to the top of the order. And Shin-Soo Choo. Choo had a single his last time up. 1 for 3 today. Average now at 244. Tried to bunt and fouled straight down. Mathis caught it, but he was still behind the plate when he did. Open umpire Dan Bellino out there to take a look at it very quickly, but recognized that it was foul.
No, Chu was happy about that.
Yeah. Now the 0-1 pitch. That will even the count. Chu now 6 out of 20 in his last 5 ball games. He's starting to put together some pretty good strings of hits. Makes that strike. 1-2. It's been a battle, though, for Shin-Soo Choo since going back to the middle of May. Remember, at one point he was leading the American League in hitting. And just has fallen on hard times. And our Ford leaderboard showing you Shin-Soo Choo has not struggled against the Marlins, that's for sure. He is the all-time leader in on-base percentage, better than 60% against the Miami Marlins. 2-2 still.
Chu's been looking more and more comfortable, like you said, especially since the All-Star break. And hopefully it has a lot to do with that ankle starting to heal up a little bit. But in that time, from the middle of May on, you create a lot of bad habits when you've got an injury and you're trying to compensate for it, go out there and play. You got to take your hat off to him. He went out there every single day, or as much as he possibly could, which seemed like every day.
Yep.
Whether he was DHing or playing in the outfield, and going out there and trying to contribute to this ball club.
Payoff pitch is low, ball 4. Chu draws the 1-out walk. Now Elvis Andrus will face Chris Hatcher. Elvis 0 for 2. Walked and scored back in the second inning. Other than that, has grounded out a couple of times. Average at 271, trying to advance Chu from first base with 1 out here in the 7th inning. Goes bunt and takes strike 1. Elvis checking with Gary Pettis down at third. 1 on, 1 out. Rangers trying to add on to their lead, which currently is 5-2. Rangers in their first ever visit to Marlins Park. They have now played in all 30 current Major League parks. Snap throw and a very quick move by Chris Hatcher. Hatcher, a belt high set, and misses low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kind of gotten into a little bit of a rut for the Rangers. Might be a spot to maybe start Chu, maybe put a little hit and run action on, do something to liven things up a bit.
Create a little offense.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
Rangers haven't scored since the second inning. They put 3 on the board in the first, 2 more in the second. And the offense has been held in check, even though they've had a base runner in every inning since the second. Now Hatcher ready to check a first. And a slider to the outside corner. 1-2. Our pitch tracker showing you that one just touching the bottom outside corner of that strike zone. Next pitch to Elvis. Instead, it's a quick look to first. Hatcher back behind the mound, touching the rosin bag. Wanted to rethink the next pitch to Andrews. Mathis flashing the signs out. Hatcher ready. Two and two now.
Elvis has done a good job over the last few weeks of taking pitches, getting deeper into counts, and working to get his pitch. I think that's one of the reasons why he's been hitting so well. And, you know, not going up there swinging at the first pitch or, you know, getting a situation where he has to swing at the pitcher's pitch, but he's been working the count.
You get in a rut sometimes as a hitter about that, about your mental approach where you get over anxious or whatever it's called?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It can work for you, it can work against you.
Pitch in the dirt, 3-2.
So there's that fine line of being patient, that fine line of being aggressive. You know, if you go up there and you start taking pitches, trying to work the count a little bit, and start finding yourself down in the count every time, up 0-2, 1-2. You're being a little bit too fine, trying to wait for that perfect pitch as opposed to just something in your zone, something in your area. So you've got to be careful of that.
Well, 3-2 here with one out. We'll see if Chu is on the move. He is. Payoff pitch swung on and missed. The throw to second. And Chu is out from here to Fort Lauderdale. Well, strike him out, throw him out, double play. Rangers gone in the seventh. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. It's stretch time in Miami with the Rangers leading the Marlins 5-2. For the 20th anniversary of Globe Life Park in Arlington, the Rangers are celebrating by offering fans $19.94 prices on select tickets and concessions for the game against the Royals this coming Sunday. That's August 24th. Plus, all adults 21 and older will receive a voucher good for a 16-ounce domestic draft beer at $19.94 prices of $3.50. Visit TexasRangers.com/rollback and use the online coupon code 1994 for tickets. Now we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. John Edwards is out of the Ranger bullpen, on for his second big league game. And he deals strike one to Jeff Mathis.
Friday against the Angels went two-thirds of an inning. He only gave up a hit, a walk, and a K. So he comes in and did a fine job that first outing. So let's see what he can get done in the second outing today.
This is high and away. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Edwards, originally an outfielder, ended up hitting a little bit less than desirable numbers in the minor leagues with St. Louis. Right back to him, and the big tall right-hander gloves and throws out Mathis. 1 gone. Let's take time here for a Mazda game break. Here's Dana Larson. Thank you, Dana. Well, here the Rangers leading 5-2. And we're going to have a pinch hitter now for the pitcher spot for Hatcher. Looks like Reed Johnson has come off the bench to pinch hit. Johnson, the preeminent pinch hitter, not only on the Marlins, but in Major League Baseball. 54 pinch hitting appearances this year with 13 hits. 225 is the average for Johnson. Edwards back to the plate. Hard hit ball knocked down by Beltre. He recovers, scrambles to his feet, and fires across for the out. What a play by Beltre again.
I just can't even say wow anymore. That's just normal. Another hot smash down to Beltre at third base. Johnson gets a fastball inside. Beltre to his right again. Knocks it down, gets to his feet. Fires over there and Sebia to complete the play. Another nice play by Beltre.
Goodness gracious. No, John Edwards the first 2 outs. Now back to the top of the order. Christian Yelich. And the first pitch is high. Yelich 2 for 3 today. Pair of singles. Facing the 6'5" right-hander John Edwards from Keller High School. Metroplex native. And Yelich slams one to right. Another base hit. That's going to be extra bases as Alex Rios, playing in right center, had a long way to go to cut that ball off. And Yelich in with a 2-bagger. A 2-out double is aboard.
I guess I can't say wow anymore to this guy either. Another hit for Yelich off the Rangers pitching staff. You can really tell how big this ballpark is. Typically, if there's a ball hit to the right of the first baseman, not down the line, but to the right side, it's probably going to be a single. But this ballpark is so big, Rios has to play back a little bit. So it takes him a long time to get to the ball. Yelich gets to second base, standing up.
Yelich back-to-back 3-hit games against the Rangers tonight, or last night and this afternoon. He's in scoring position. Donovan Solano, the second baseman, now will come up. Solano is over 3, and Mike Maddox, again, a trip out to the mound to talk with John Edwards and Giovanni Soto. Mike Maddox making sure that, especially with the inexperience on the Rangers staff, that if he feels there's anything that needs to be said about changes in the ball game, situations in the ball game, he wants to make sure that he's out there to let his pitchers know and help the catchers out in relaying the message that needs to be said.
Yeah, this is an important hitter here because you've got to look over in that on-deck circle, and if Solano gets on base, that brings a tying run to the plate and the home run leader in the major leagues.
Yeah, you don't want to see Giancarlo Stanton. Next inning, maybe be okay, leading off. No, conference concluded.
Sorry about that. Perfect time to say it.
First pitch to Solano is right down the middle. Good fastball from Edwards. Roman Mendez, we saw last night, up and throwing. Ranger bullpen again has just been outstanding in the last 10 days, 2 weeks. Gave up a run last night, but it was unearned. 0-1 the count. To center field. Here comes Leonis Martin. He stopped dead in his tracks then and makes the catch. Well, Solano hit it hard, but Leonis Martin there to make the play, and that'll do it. No runs. A hit, one left after 7. 5-2 Rangers. At our selection for today's fan photo, brought to you by AT&T. And today we get one from Gary. Gary, we appreciate it. We appreciate all the photos that have been tweeted. If you'd like to tweet yours, it's hashtag Southwest Fan Photo, and we'll make a selection for each of the upcoming games on Fox Sports Southwest. Maybe we'll be able to put your photo up there. Top of the 8th, Alex Rios to start things off, a new pitcher on the hill. And again, it's A.J. Ramos, the right-hander from Lubbock, Texas.
This is A.J.'s 57th ball game. Saw him in last night's ball game. 5-0 record, ERA of 2.13. Rangers touched him up for a couple of runs in 2/3 of an inning last night, so they've got a good idea of what to expect from him today.
And the right-hander misses just outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Ramos back to the plate. Misses low. It's 2-0. Ramos came on in last night's ball game, gave up a double and a walk and a single. 3 successive hitters, and that cost him a couple of runs. Falling behind here. 3 balls and no strikes to Alex Rios. And 3-1 now. Rios trying to get aboard to start this 8th inning. Adrian Beltre, the Ranger cleanup man, waits to be next. A 5-2 Ranger lead. Full count to Rios.
Knows how to cut at that one. You don't normally see him come out of himself too much.
Payoff pitch is on the way. Adrian Beltre in the on-deck circle had that ball go by him and bounced it. Karen off the aquarium there. Beltre took a swing at it, coming back at him. Oh. Never know what you're going to get from Adrian, antics-wise. Next pitch is popped up. Shallow center. Echevarria and Solano to be the shortstop. Echevarria to make the catch. That is out number one. Now Beltre will face Ramos. Adrian, 2 more hits here this afternoon. He is 2 for 3. Pair of singles. He scored 1 time. 4 for 7 in the last couple of games. And go back over the last 5 games. He is 9 for 18. 500 hitter. He takes inside corner for strike 1.
Trying to get a call there.
Oh, and 2 now, the count to Beltre. Adrian now up to 322. The numbers for him with 17 home runs, 64 RBI. 0-2 pitch. A ball and 2 strikes. Beltre facing the Texas Tech X, A.J. Ramos. Right-hander sets for the 1-2. We'll try it again. Roman Mendez looks like he is getting ready with the intent of entering the ball game. We'll see if he starts off the bottom of the 8th inning. Another 1-2 pitch. Out to short. Echevarria on the run. Nice little flip on to Garrett Jones for the out. Beltre retired, 2 gone. And J.P. Arancibia will be next.
Beltre tops this ball on the outside part of the plate. And Echevarria comes in, makes a great play. Pick it a little bit out there.
A very athletic shortstop. Here's Arancibia. He had that RBI double back in the first. Also scored a run that frame. 1 for 3 this afternoon. Hitting at 179. He looks at the breaking ball that nibbles on the inside corner. JP, a Miami native. He went to Westminster Christian School here in Miami. A ball and a strike is the count. Ramos, next pitch. Pretty good breaking ball. And JP was swinging fastball. He thought that's what he was going to get and didn't get it.
Definitely looking for the fastball. Got the breaking ball and was way out in front of it.
Now the 1-2. That breaking ball stayed up enough for him to get just a little piece of it to stay alive. Arancibia brought back to the big leagues after a month and a half or so at AAA Round Rock. This is 27th game since rejoining the club on the 17th of July. And he skies one to center field. Stanton, the right fielder, in and over, makes the catch, and that'll do it. So A.J. Ramos works a 1-2-3-8. Rangers gone after 7.5, 5-2 Texas. that.
Well, I'm going to answer my challenge next, maybe not next home. Yeah, probably will be next homestand this weekend. A lot going on, but I'll answer that challenge. Aaron Hardigan challenged me, so I'll have to answer that challenge.
You do what's warm.
That's a very good thought.
It's not something you want to do in January. Roman Mendez out of the Ranger bullpen to take over, facing Giancarlo Stanton to start off the 8th inning. A 5-2 Ranger lead. Stanton a rip and a miss at the slider.
Numbers on Mendez's 19th ball game. He's been doing a tremendous job. Opponents are only hitting 147 off of him. Came into last night's ball game, pitched an inning, scoreless inning.
There's that hanger up and in again.
Wow.
Stanton either has not swung at it or has swung and missed it in this series. That's not the ideal place to. They're not trying to do that. I
No,
think.
they're not. I hope they're not trying to throw hanging curveballs.
Now the 1-2. Got him swinging. And Giancarlo Stanton out. The third strikeout this afternoon. Yesterday we had some pointers. Dana, I hope you're watching this. You can take pointers from Shin-Soo Choo and Alex Rios and Leonis Martin on how to take it. You gotta squint your shoulders together and bow your head a little bit and let that ice run right down your back.
Wow.
And then freeze.
Martin tried to get out of there just a little early, though.
Got a good jump on that bucket. Shin-Soo took the brunt of it. Now, he can't move as well on that bad ankle, so he had to stay there and take the whole thing. Casey McGee, the cleanup man, 0 for 3 this afternoon and 0 for 8 in this 2-game series. Taken outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Talking about that Ranger bullpen. In the last 9 games, Ranger pen has an ERA of .76. That's 0.76. That's pretty impressive.
It's very impressive. They are more than getting the job done. And you look at, the bullpen, how it's made up, who they have out there. They've got a lot of young guys out there. I mean, with, I'm not talking, 1 or 2 years of experience young. We're talking 1 or 2 months of experience.
Yeah, and in some cases, 1 or 2 days. That's
right.
Yeah, it's been pretty remarkable how they've been able to get the job done of late. Coming into the ball games, and McGee trying to climb the ladder, and he didn't have another rung to go up to. Mendez gets his 2nd straight strikeout. 2 gone. Garrett Jones will be next.
Mendez working McGee, throwing him fastball, throws that one up and in. And 1 at the bottom of the zone, 1 down the middle. McGee can't catch up to any of them.
I wouldn't think many guys are going to catch up to that one up and in like that at 95 or 96, whatever it was.
No, you might want to get out of the way and take that one.
Garrett Jones now, left-handed hitting first baseman, 1 for 2 this afternoon. And first ball swinging, he lost one down the left field line. It is slicing and going foul. No way that Shin-Soo Choo is going to catch up with that. He has Choo over in left center. With the ball 5 or 6 feet foul, so we'll come back and try it at 0-1. Jones a walk in the 2nd, a single, and a run scored in the 4th. Last time up in the 6th, grounded out to 2nd. Little tardy on the swing at Mendez's fastball. 0-2. Roman okays the sign. Right-hander sets at the belt. Ground ball. And the new first baseman, Adam Rosales, takes care of that. Onto the bag with Roman Mendez covering, and that'll do it. 3 up, 3 down. We have finished 8 in Miami. Rangers 5, Marlins 2. We'll be with you on TXA 21, the first of three, brought to you by AT&T Uverse TV. It'll be the Kansas City Royals, who are leading the American League Central by 2 games over the Tigers. They will invade for 3 games at Globe Life Park. Adrian Beltre and company. Adrian with the best home average in Major League Baseball at .358. Friday night, 7 o'clock on TXA 21. And for the second straight night, second straight day, in this case, Mike Dunn, the left-hander, on for the Marlins.
Numbers on Mike Dunn. 59th ball game, 10-5 record, 3.5 ERA. Came in the last night's ball game. Pitched the third of an inning. Gave up a walk. Opponent's hitting over 200. It's about 222 off of him.
Well, Leonis Martin, 3 for 3 today. Up there to start things off in the Ranger ninth. 5-2 the score, and Leonis trying to lay down a bunt, and that one is foul. Almost every time now when Leonis has come up there against a left-hander, he has at least shown the idea of bunting, which is a good idea, I think, for him.
Yeah, I like it. I like the fact that he's bringing back that bunt. You know, last year he had a lot of bunt base hits. This year he kind of got away from it a little bit, but he's starting to bring it back now.
Next pitch is on the outside corner. It is 0-2.
You know what that does for him. You know, you bring the third baseman in a little bit. Got a left-hander up. You get a breaking ball, or that left-hander staying away from him. Got that third baseman drawn in. You can slap it by him somehow.
Dunn back to the plate. A ball and 2 strikes. Dunn came in last night and gave up the bases loaded walk to Daniel Robertson, the pinch hitter, in the 7th inning. That tied the ball game. It was 3-3 at that point, and then got Leonis Martin to fly out. Now he's going to get him to bounce out to second. Solano on to first. Martin retired 1 away, and Giovanni Soto will be next. Neftali Feliz getting ready in that Ranger bullpen. So Feliz, who gave up the game-winning hit last night to Giancarlo Stanton, get an opportunity to finish off this game and a save if the score stays 5-2. First pitch to Soto is outside and high. Giovanni hit a hard line drive to right field last time up. It was right at Giancarlo Stanton. 0 for 3 today. He's also grounded out a couple of times, once into a double play. Two and 0 the count. Soto with the average at 243 as he stands at the plate. Facing the left-hander, Mike Dunn. Next pitch on the way. And, outside, 3 balls and no strikes. So Dunn missing with 3 consecutive out of the zone. Now he will try to get one in the middle, and he gets one close to the middle, 3-1. Soto trying to get aboard with 1 out here in the 9th inning. Rougned Odor, the Rangers' second baseman, waits to be next. Marlins pitching today have walked a pair of Rangers. The 3-1. Now a full count. Soto out for a moment. Kind of pondering that last swing. Now back in there. Mike Dunn reading the signs. The left-hander is ready. The payoff pitch is on the way. Got him swinging. Boy, Dunn able to come back from a 3-0 count. 3 straight strikes to get the strikeout. 2 gone for Odor. Fans, earlier this season, fans were given a chance to vote on a giveaway item, and you chose the Texas Rangers camo t-shirt. On Thursday, September the 11th, the first 15,000 fans coming to the game against the Angels will receive that t-shirt courtesy of Fanatics. Great seats for this game are still available at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS if you prefer. Rougned Odor, first ball swinging, skies to center. Walking back 2 steps, Marcell Ozuna, and that'll do it. So it will be Neftali Feliz coming in to face Osuna, Echevarria, and Mathis when we come back, 5-2 in the ninth. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. By AT&T UVerse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. And by your Texas Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event. Now playing at a Ford dealer near you. Port of Miami, home to a multitude of huge cruise ships in and out. And Neftali Feliz on to see if he can close down this ball game here this afternoon.
Neffy's numbers, his 18th ball game. He's got a 1-1 record. ERA of 2.3. 19 in the third innings. Scoreless in his last 10 of 11 outings. Over that period, that ERA is at 1.69. He saved 4 out of his last 5, or 4 out of 5 saves. So he's been doing a tremendous job. Gave up the game-winning hit last night. That wasn't a save situation.
He will face Marcell Ozuna, Danny Echevarria, and Jeff Mathis. At least those are the first 3 scheduled hitters here in the bottom of the ninth. First pitch is in for strike 1. Ozuna, 2 for 3 today. He has singled and doubled, driven in a run. He has scored a run. Feliz okays the sign. The 0-1 pitch. 0-2 after the foul ball. Feliz last night working to Stanton. Got ahead 1-2 with pretty good sliders. Then tried to throw a fastball away from Stanton, and he was having none of that. Stanton just ripped it into right for the game-winning hit. That fly ball is hit well down the right field line. It is slicing deep into the corner and goes foul. I'm not sure last night with Stanton that says much about whether Feliz has good stuff or not. Stanton is such a good hitter. I think you just have to credit the hitter on that, don't you, Matt?
Yeah, you do. It was a fastball that was up and out over the plate. Stanton has some quick, powerful hands. Hasn't shown much about hitting the breaking ball, at least in this series. And he got a fastball to hit, and he didn't miss it.
1 ball, 2 strikes now. And the Rangers trying to stay away from Marcell Ozuna. We've seen his power on the inner part of the plate. Phillies and Soto trying to keep the ball away and make him hit the ball the other way if they possibly can. That ball is hit well to left field. Going back is Jew. He's looking up. That ball's gone. Middle of the plate, up a bit, maybe inner half of the plate. And Marcell Ozuna, with his 18th home run of the year, gives a 5-3 ball game.
Trying to stay away from Ozuna. He's going to hit it out of the ballpark. Got to make him hit it out of the ballpark the opposite way. Ball ran back over the plate. Middle in. And Ozuna didn't miss it.
You can tell by Feliz' reaction as soon as he heard that thing leave the bat. It was a little disappointment. Ozuna's second home run in as many games against the Rangers. It's now a 2-run Ranger lead at 5-3, and Adeiny Echevarria. 1-0 pitch to him. That's hit hard and flagged down nicely by Odor. 1 out. Echevarria hit a scorcher, but Brugner said, yeah, that's no problem.
Echevarria gets a fastball up and out over the plate. It's a screaming one hopper. And Odor said, oh, okay, no problem. I got that.
Well, Mathis, the scheduled hitter, called back, and Jared Saltalamacchia, the other catcher, and a switch hitter will come up to pinch hit. Salty had some good at-bats last night. Had a couple of hits. Single and a double, drove in a run. And he takes strike 1 here. Saltalamacchia at .227 with the average as he faces Feliz. Oh and 2.
Neffy getting ahead of Salty. Now he can afford to, he's got him set up. He doesn't have to throw him a strike. Salty's a free swinger.
0-2 pitch. Saltalamacchia, as we mentioned, always throughout his career, much better from the left side than he is the right side. About a 40 to 45 point difference. Saltalamacchia deep right field. That's going to leave the ballpark into the second deck. And it's now a 1-run game. Jared Saltalamacchia unloads on Neftali Feliz. For Saltalamacchia, his 11th home run of the year. It's 5-4.
Neffy throws him a hanging breaking ball. Salty was looking for it. Knowing Neffy and what his patterns are, to be able to hit that breaking ball that far, I think he had to be looking for that pitch.
Well, a pinch hit home run cuts the lead to 1. That is the Marlins' 4th pinch hit home run of the year. Jeff Baker, the hitter. Back-to-back pinch hitters. Baker fouling off that first pitch. And Baker, a guy you've got to be careful with, as Ranger fans remember. Baker, pretty good power. Feliz back to him. The pitch fouled away to the right. And again, Feliz in front of the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Jeff Baker's a pinch hitter this year has been extraordinary. 355 average. He has one of those 4 pinch hit home runs. Ron Washington saw Jeff Baker come off the Rangers bench last year and do a lot of damage. The 0-2 pitch. Got him swinging. He's going up with a little extra giddy up on that fastball at 95. And that is out number 2.
Climb the ladder on Baker here. Like you said, he reached back for that little bit extra. Make sure he hit his spot, get it up high in the zone. Got 2 strikes on the hitter. He doesn't want to strike out looking, so he's going to go after that high fastball.
A 2 outs, base is empty. Rangers leading by 1. And Christian Yelich, who is 3 for 4, will step to the plate. Yelich has had 2 singles and a double. And first pitch is outside for ball 1. Yelich now with the average at 288 for the year. Feliz trying to work around a couple of solo home runs here in the 9th inning. Looking for his 5th save in 6 opportunities. 1-1 the count. Rangers have yet to find an answer for Christian Yelich. He is 11 for 18 against the Rangers this year. 2-1 the count now. Neftali Feliz about ready to throw his 18th pitch of this 9th inning. And it's outside, 3-1. If you're the Rangers now, you've got to be squirming a little bit. Yelich, the leadoff man, to be followed by the second baseman, Donovan Solano. The 3-1. Ball 4. Well, the tying run has been walked aboard here in the 9th inning. And Solano will be the hitter with Ron Washington headed out to the mound. And the skipper going out there to deliver a message in person. Like Scott Baker loosening very quickly in the Ranger bullpen, but he just got up. Skipper out there to deliver a message as only he can in certain situations. And this would be one of those situations.
Yeah, when Wash goes out in these situations, he's not going out to check and see if he's okay. He's going out to say something very specific. And sometimes it's not always nice. And, you know, sometimes, you know, that's what being a manager is, knowing who your personnel is and knowing what it takes to get the most out of them.
And after all, this is a business of winning. And you have to do whatever you need to do to win ball games. Now here's Solano. Donovan Solano today 0 for 4. He has skied out 3 times, grounded out on a great play by Beltre. Up there with the tying run at first, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. A strike to the inside corner. Feliz studying the signs from Giovanni Soto. Yelich a modest lead at first. Solano going after that pitch that was up. It's 0-2. Neftali coming right at Donovan Solano. Rangers 5 runs on 10 hits. The Marlins 4 runs on 9 hits. The 0-2 pitch is coming. This is the pitch. I think you want to go right after the hitter here. You want to make him swing the bat on 1 and 2.
Got to go after him.
Neftali reading the signs from Soto. And now time called as Phillies and Soto can't get together on the sign. Now Phillies ready. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled away. Yelich was on the move. Yelich will retrace his steps. Back to first base. It's still a ball and 2 strikes. Solano out, heaving a big sigh. Now he is back in. Phillies nods in agreement. A belt high set. Yelich again on the move. Strike 3. Phillies gets the punch out. He sends Solano back to the bench, and he sends the Marlins down to defeat here this afternoon. A little bit tenuous in the 9th inning, but the Rangers prevail 5-4. The Rangers score 5 runs in the first 2 innings and make them stand up as the offense shut down the rest of the way. Neftali Feliz, his 5th save in 6 opportunities. Despite giving up a pair of solo home runs in the bottom of the 9th inning and having the tying run at first with 2 outs, Feliz able to shut it down and make this one a winner. So Rod Washington out with high fives for everybody coming down that line, and the Rangers split the 2-game series here in Miami. Their first trip to the southeast coast of Florida, and it turns out to be a winner. Nick Martinez gets the win. He is now 3-9. He has won 2 of his last 3 decisions. The Rangers able to prevail. Nathan Eovaldi drops to 6-8 for the year as he takes the loss in 5 innings of work. So the Rangers get a split out of this series. They have split the 2 series that they played against the Miami Marlins this year. Dave Magadan, who also was a resident of South Florida, got to be happy with the offense, putting up 5 early runs, 10 hits overall, able to get the job done, and a good afternoon for the Rangers. Now let's head down to the field. Nick Martinez is standing by. Nick, congratulations. A good day for you. It looked like you had as much confidence about how you were to work into the Marlin hitters as I've seen you have this year.
Sure, yeah. I mean, we had a good game plan going into today's game, and, early offense definitely helps that confidence, and just a great job all around, defense, offense, and, great game by Soto calling the game.
Nick, you had 7 strikeouts, a career high today. Over your last couple of outings, you struck out 6 in your last outing. You made some any adjustments in order to increase that strikeout total?
I think it's just a learning experience. I'm getting used to pitching out there and thinking on my feet and thinking a lot quicker out there. And just being on the same page with Gio and both my catchers, Robinson Trinos.
Yeah, and as you went through, Nick, you had maybe a little trouble in the 4th. You gave up both runs then. And then in the 5th, it got a little bit dicey at times. But you were able to get out of that and work one more 1, 2, 3 inning. How important is it for you to get through that extra 6th inning today?
Very important. And, you want to go as deep as you can into the game and help your team compete and just give them a chance to win.
Well, Nick, we appreciate it. Congratulations today. Your 3rd one of the year, and it was a good one to make the flight back home a little bit quicker.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Nick Martinez, our winner. We'll be back to wrap things up from Marlins Park in South Florida right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.